Good morning. Feel free, you don't have to turn your screens on if you don't want to, but I'm going to be sharing a good morning. Feel free, you don't have to turn your, there we go. That, because I am also going live on YouTube this morning, which is cool. I'm going to stream live, but I've got a special share for you guys today. So I wanted to make sure that we could go through everything together because we're going to talk today about falling off the wagon. So we'll let as many people show up as possible, which will be super exciting. Good morning, Anne. Good morning, Carrie. You can always feel free to unmute yourself or type in the chat how you're doing today. Let me know how you're doing this morning. Let's see here. Love this. Chat up. Good morning. Good morning. Okay. Carrie coming in. Love this. Okay, awesome. And can you confirm that you guys cannot see my chat from Zoom, that you can only see my screen, the blue screen? Carrie, can you confirm that? Awesome, thank you. Just want to make sure that I'm not sharing too much. Awesome. Okay. We're gonna give everybody a few minutes. I'll give them to about, I don't know, 8, 10. But this whole topic, the falling on and off the wagon is something that I come across all the time, speaking to women on a day-to-day basis, whether it's current members, people who are seeking support. But this conversation and this slogan or this line of like, I just keep falling off the wagon, or I was on the wagon for so long and I just can't stop from falling off. And this is such an important topic because I just think that there's a lot of misunderstanding and a lot of redirecting that needs to happen when we talk about this topic. So I am going to be talking about my thoughts on this and taking questions, and obviously answering questions as you have them. But I think today will just be a good opportunity for us to start sort of reflecting inwards and looking at how we really value our health and our routine. Good morning, Vanessa. Good morning, Nala. How are you? Good. Let me know how you're doing. Feel free to type it in the chat. Awesome. Okay, we'll give everybody about 2 more minutes to get in. I know I'm doing things differently this morning. I just felt inspired to do something bigger, and I'm streaming live to YouTube, which is cool. So these Coffee with Christie's now will all be on YouTube after for reflection. If you ever want to go back and watch them, maybe you want to share them. We end up always having such great conversations in these on Fridays, and I just felt that they were very valuable. So I wanted to make sure that I could share them with everybody if they weren't able to make the replay, and more people that aren't even a part of, Empower Fit. So if you have any questions or anything that you want me to touch on, please feel free to write it in the chat. Otherwise, just tell me how you're feeling today. Tell me what your energy's like. Give me a word for your day today. And we're going to start in 1 minute.
Christy, you should just share the Zoom link better or like more in the Facebook group. Like, because I had a bit of I just tagged everybody in it, but it was just a bit tricky to find the actual link. So,
Oh, was it? Okay.
yeah, like I saw the coffee with Christy in 20 minutes,
Yeah.
but then like maybe throw like the link in that comment too. I don't know. I had to like search for your post that had the link. I couldn't find
Interesting.
it.
Okay.
It's just my feed, but
Let's just go back to, oops.
obviously some people found it, but just
Yes. Well, let me share the Zoom link. Go. I put it in the comments again. Hopefully that's good. There's Megan. Beautiful. Okay, we're going to get started. And as people come in, we will allow them access. Okay. All right. Let's get right into it. I'm excited for this one. So today we're talking about the wagon, the proverbial wagon that I hear about all the time, about how we fall off it constantly and how we just can't seem to stay on the wagon. And we're going to have a talk about why your health is not optional, especially for those, I mean, for everybody, but especially for those of us that are parents. I think this just goes into if we want to raise, healthy, health-minded kids, we need to have the discussion with ourselves as well. But it doesn't matter if you're a parent or not, because the way that you value your health radiates out to everybody, whether it's coworkers, families, friends. You impact people around you more than you believe. And I think that it's really important for us to start valuing our health a little bit more. So the whole wagon is really, I think, a myth. So if you have your screen on, or even just in the comments, raise your hand if you've ever said, "Oh, I fell off the wagon again. Oh, I was doing so good and then I just fell off. I don't know why." Or, "Oh, yeah, life happened and I fell off the wagon." Because I feel like everybody has probably said this. Yes, right? People are raising their hands. We've all said this at some point in our life. It's so normalized that we don't even question it. It's just so part of our dialogue to hear people say, "I fell off the wagon," that we don't even, we're like, "Oh, yeah, I get what that's like," right? We just accept it. But what if the wagon isn't actually the problem? What if we were, taught to believe that there's this wagon that we're supposed to be on when things are good, and it's okay to fall off the wagon when things go bad? And I think that's really the trap that a lot of us fall into, is that we believe that when things go bad, it's okay to fall off the wagon. Um, and what if we're trying to climb onto something that was really never built for us? So when something is non-negotiable, it does not need motivation. Now, we talk about discipline in the studio a lot, and this is always something I bring up the very first time I meet everybody, because when we brush our teeth in the morning or at night, why do we do it? We do it because it's a non-negotiable. Do we always want to brush our teeth? No. Do our kids always want to brush their teeth? No, but we teach them and we instill in them that this is something very important. It's a non-negotiable. It's something we have to do. And the same should go for your health. It should not be we only do it when the timing is right, or the energy is right, or the mood is right. It should be a non-negotiable to take care of our health. We don't cancel our kids' appointments just because we're not in the mood. We don't not go to their sporting events because we're tired. Health is the thing that we all say we want, but we often treat it as optional. And this is really the mindset shift that we have to get over in order to stop this on again, off again, or the yo-yo. And it's so easy to do because, again, we've normalized that when life gets busy, it's okay to let your health go. When in fact, this is actually the time when we need to grab it by the horns. We need to double down and we need to commit even more to taking care of ourselves. So, again, health is the thing that we say we all want. And raise your hand if you agree, right? The health, the way a healthy body feels, the way a healthy body looks, the way a healthy body mind operates. We all say that we want that, but we often treat it as optional. And I know there's some of you on this call that know that you've been put in a situation where it becomes not optional because you've gotten sick. And because when you get sick, there's only one priority, and that's your health. We all have 99 problems until our health gets bad. And then we have one problem, and that's taking care of our health, because we realize Nothing else matters. So when we value our well-being, the habits will follow, right? We are not lazy, we are not unmotivated, but all of us at some point have been trained to put ourselves dead last. We've been taught, especially as women, that it's important to put others before ourselves. It's important to take care of everybody else's needs last. And if we have energy and time later, we can pick up the scraps for ourselves. And that is the absolute worst thing that we can practice. And it's the absolute worst thing that we can instill in our children, especially our girls, because again, this is typically a female issue where we are taught that we are the caregivers, we give ourselves, we fill everybody's cups, we put on everybody's mask before ours, but we know that, and and Nella, you can, say your bit here. Please put on your own mask before you put on anybody else's, right? And it goes back to this. When you show up for yourself, your brain will see this, it sees this as extra instead of, sorry, when you do show up for yourself, your brain sees this as extra instead of essential. So that should actually say when you don't show up for yourself, not do, that's a typo. When you don't show up for yourself, right? When you put yourself last, when you skip your workouts, when you skip your meal prep, when you skip your sleep, when you skip your walk, when you skip your tea ritual, when you skip your quiet mornings, whatever it is that makes you feel the best version of yourself, your brain starts to understand that, oh, she's skipping it. This must not be essential. When in fact, the opposite is true. Those small things matter and they are essential to your well being because without doing those, you are not able to show up for those in your life the way you want to. Your mental health, your energy, your mood, your patience, your resilience. Okay. They all tank when you skip the small things. You cannot pour from an empty cup. How many times have you heard this? We preach it over and over and over again. And we will even tell our friends and our families and our loved ones, you can't pour from an empty cup. You'd better take care of yourself. But then we turn around and we do the opposite for our own needs. At some points, you cannot even locate the cup because you're running on fumes. Your brain fog is out of control. Your mood is out of control. Your libido has gone screaming for the hills. You want to do nothing but scroll and look for the quickest dopamine hit that you can get. And that just cycles into a pattern. And then we all wonder why depression, anxiety, and mental health are at an all-time low. It's because we do not prioritize our own essential needs. We see our health as an extra or an add-on, not as a non-negotiable. So please, let's stop waiting for life to scream at us before we pay attention. Hands up if you are there right now, where your life is screaming at you to pay attention. And it's okay to say that you're at that spot right now, because sometimes it happens in the blink of an eye and we don't even know that we're there. When your health goes downhill, everything else follows, right? Absolutely everything. You can see it reflected in the way you show up for your family. You can see it in the way you reflect and show up for your job, and you might not even notice it until you start making changes or until you hit rock bottom. And this is as a coach, what I see more times than not is we hit rock bottom before we're willing to really take it seriously. And even then, sometimes it's like, I just need a kickstart. And it's like, girl, you need more than a kickstart. You need me to tie you down, wrap you up, and drag you behind the wagon because that's the only way you're going to stay on. It's kicking and screaming because the one moment something comes up to derail you, you're going to let it because you still don't see your health as the priority, as an essential. Now, I can speak this because I've been here. I used to think that pushing through was my superpower. I used to think that my strength came from being able to control all the things, that I always had a spotless house, that I always had everything just right. I'm a very type A, if you couldn't tell. And so for years, I used to say things like, "Oh, I got a housekeeper," and my mom would be like, "Pfft, a housekeeper? Like now she has a housekeeper, but back then it would have been blasphemy to have a housekeeper. We do it all, right?" And that's how I grew up. My mom did it all, everything. She always put her own needs last, and that's just how most of us learned, right? And now we have to unlearn those patterns to stop being the ever giving, the ever self-sacrificing person, because that puts us into a spot where we have nothing left. And ladies, being an entrepreneur, a mom, a wife, all the things, I have put myself through burnout so many times. I have, tell you a story one morning. This was about, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. Ben was working out of town. He'd been out of town for a number of years. The kids were little. I had just opened Empower Fit. And one morning I woke up and one of my pupils was completely dilated. It basically took up the whole of my eye. And I felt fine, but I thought, oh my God, this looks like I'm having an aneurysm or something, right? I need to go to the hospital. And I did, and they agreed. They were like, we need to get you tested right away. You could have a brain bleed or an aneurysm. And they actually took me in the ambulance to the U of A from Sherwood Park. And the whole ambulance ride, all I could think was, is this how I go out? Is this how everything ends for me? Is that the last time I'm ever going to see my kids? Is this what I've done to myself? I was drinking all the time, coping with COVID burnout. I was just, burying myself in a bag of chips every night. I was so unhealthy and so mentally and emotionally broken, but I wasn't prioritizing myself. I was prioritizing the business. I was prioritizing my kids. And in the time that I had, I was literally just using the coping skills that everybody was at that point. It was like cool to grab a bottle of wine a night and a bag of chips, and that was mom life. And, you know, I got to a point where it was like, I just can't do that. I gained a ton of weight. My health went down the tubes. And so I know now that I have to listen to my body. And when it doesn't look the way I want or feel the way I want in any way, shape, or form, I know that I have been neglecting my essentials. And it's not about bubble baths. Don't get me wrong, self-care, bubble baths, all those kinds of things are great. And they are a tool in your toolbox. But what I'm talking about is boundaries. And it is hard. I remember not long ago, my family was in the hot tub. It was a Saturday morning. It was beautiful. Everybody was in the hot tub having a great morning. And I was getting ready to go to the gym. And they're like, come on, just come in the hot tub. You don't have to go to the gym. And did I want to stay in the hot tub? And I was like, oh, I feel like quality family time. And I was like, no, I have to go to the gym, because if I don't go to the gym, I'm going to be resentful. I'm not going to be able to expend the energy that I need to show up in a happier way. I'm going to be moody and irritable, because that's how I get when I've got too much energy bottled up. And this is important to me. It makes me feel good. It's an essential in my life. And if that means that, like, the hot tub will still be there when I get home, my family will still be get there when I get home, I can make that time up in other ways, but I have to keep that boundary to myself. I have to keep that promise to myself, so that they know that it's important to me, that they know that that's a boundary, so that they can respect it, and they can allow me to do, not allow me, because they don't allow me to do things, but they will be much more, um, respectful of my needs when I say I need to go to the gym, because they'll be able to see how I show up after that. They'll be able to see that I have more to give them when I have done things positive for me. And moving our bodies and exercising is the top. Like, guys, if you're one of those people that says, like, follow the science and it's about the science, The science says that exercise is the number one antidepressant, anti-anxiety, top of the line. If you want to improve your health and have a better lifestyle, exercise is where it's at. Okay. So just follow the science, right? But also follow how it makes you feel. Create those boundaries. Start small. Just start with one boundary. Create a routine. Let your family know that they need to respect it and that you need their help. And this can just be 30 minutes to move your body. It does not have to be a perfect workout. It can literally just be a walk, walk your dog, walk on a treadmill, do a yoga video, do some squats, whatever, jump on the trampoline outside, all the things. Start saying no to things that drain you. If you have plans to do something and you're just like, oh, I wish I could just cancel. You are a grown ass woman. If you do not want to do something and you feel like it drains your energy, girl, you have got to say no. And it's okay to say no. If someone has a problem with you saying no, that's on them. And guess what? Their feelings don't factor into how you feel at the end of the day. Because if you're draining yourself to make someone else feel better, then we need to take some of that back. Okay. And you need to advocate for your body with zero guilt, whether that's, you know, emotionally or physically. Carrie, she says, yep, I chose the hotel gym over the hot tub at my kiddos' competition. Yes, it was amazing how many parents commented on it. Exactly, because a lot of them likely feel that they need to show up and be part of the family or the parent group in the hot tub the way that they're doing it. Oh, if I don't show up, they're going to think that I'm being unsociable or that I don't want to be a part of that. When in fact, it has nothing to do with anybody else and it has everything to do with ourselves. But that makes us feel guilty, and we really need to work on getting rid of that. Another one too is just getting curious about symptoms instead of ignoring it. If your skin is breaking out, if you are always bloated, if you are not pooping right, if you have low energy, if your moods are all over the place, if you feel like something is off, get curious about it. Ask your doctor. Search for someone that acknowledges what you're saying. Even if they investigate and nothing comes out of it, fight for what you know you need, right? I hear it all the time. Women go to their doctors and get completely gaslit. And so then they stop. They don't go to a naturopath. They don't go to an acupuncturist. They don't go to an osteopath. They don't go to whoever, a shaman, for God's sakes, because they've been, told that nothing's wrong. But we know, ladies, our intuition is so strong. And we have been taught to, again, block out that it is mother's intuition for a reason, right? Whether you're a mother, not just female intuition, it is so powerful. You know your body, stop ignoring it. Your body is not a burden, it is a gift. Steward it well. It is not meant to be run into the ground for everybody else. Taking care and prioritizing your health is not selfish, it is sacred. Without our health, we have nothing. And putting yourself last, it might feel noble. It might feel like that's what we're supposed to do. It might feel like that's the gold star of motherhood or the gold star of being the perfect employee or the gold star of being the perfect wife. But eventually, you disappear. And I think a lot of you probably feel like you're already fading away or you're already gone. You probably feel like a shell of yourself. And you probably know that when you took care of yourself, you didn't feel that way. Everybody has a point. Every story that I hear is when I ask them, take me back to the last time you felt your best. What was true about that point? And they always tell me, well, I was taking care of myself. That's the number one thing they say, whether that's exercise, nutrition, just doing the things that fill their cup, like being adventurous, doing their hair every day, wearing more makeup, wearing fancier clothes, right? When you take care of yourself, everything becomes easier and you are able to show up as the powerful being that you are. Megan, oh my gosh, yes. I go back to work in a week and my focus is not making my job take over my life again, not giving up on the good habits I've grown these past months. Megan, this is something that we see at EmpowerFit all the time is that and we get it because we're moms as well and we've had to, I mean, I didn't even have a mat leave the second time. I went back to work after Hazel was born after 12 weeks. I went back to work. I got a nanny. My sister-in-law came and nanny with us, and overwhelming doesn't even explain what it's like going back to work after being off on mat leave and being with your baby and having that freedom and having that joy. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's stressful, and a lot of us are really excited to go back to work as well, but it's very overwhelming. And I would say 99% of women go back to work and their health plan goes out the window. And it's because it becomes a it becomes a negotiable. It's not a non-negotiable. Most women, when we go back to work, we're now prioritizing our job. We're prioritizing our kids. We're prioritizing dinner with our husband. We're prioritizing all these things. And not that they're not important, but you can't tell me that you've got 2 to 3 hours every week where you can make it about yourself. Come on. If you say you don't, you are not seeing this as essential. You are seeing it as an extra, and you are putting it on a list of things to do, which only causes anxiety. You're not putting it on a list of must do's because I can guarantee you're still brushing your teeth, you're still showering, you're still doing things for everybody else. And that creates a horrible cycle and it gets very hard to get out of it. So I'm super proud of you, Megan, for putting yourself first and being able to make that a focus. And again, we are always here to support you and help you do that. So I would love to know from all of you today, what is one thing you can be doing this week to treat your health like a non-negotiable? So please pop that in the chat. I want to know, what is the one thing you are doing this week to treat your health like a non-negotiable? So I want everybody to type that in the chat. What's one thing you're doing this week to treat your health like a non-negotiable? Don't overthink it, ladies. It could be something super small, okay? Because the small things turn into big things. But I want to see in the chat one thing you're doing. Making it to my 3 classes, even when my son was sick. Yes, Vanessa, show up to the gym twice a week. Love it. Hit my step goals every day. Absolutely. That's a big one. Morning workouts from Carrie. Yes, so good. I love it. Going to the Saturday class. Whoop, whoop. I love it. Weekend stuff is, for me, guys, weekend workouts are the best. I always work out on the weekend. I love working out on the weekend because I just feel like that's my freest time. I can tell everybody, sit on the couch and be trolls if you want. I'm going to exercise. And usually they end up going out as well. But my non-negotiable for this week to treat my health like a non-negotiable is going for a walk every single day. I was doing it for a long time. I got out of the habit when I went on vacation. Luckily, we have a puppy, so I got back into the habit very quickly. But I just found I started looking at the walks with my puppy as less of a burden and more of a, oh, this really makes sure that I'm getting up and moving my body every day. You don't need another wagon. You need a why. Okay. Now, easy whys that I can give you, right? It's just like things like March Madness, right? Things in the studio this month. We have a challenge. It's a team challenge. Show up for your team. Show up to the classes. Do the pop-up challenges on the Facebook. You can set a new PR goal, right? It could be as simple as wanting to back squat 20 more pounds, right? And working towards that. You can grab a pair of shorts that are too tight and use that as your why. You can set a goal to read 10 pages every day. Reading makes us curious, it sparks creativity, and from creativity sparks ambition, and that just grows everything. Sign up for some semi-privates. If you feel like you're really stuck, sign up for a semi-private at the studio, even just once a week. Let the coaches guide you. If you haven't seen the success out of the semi-privates or talk to any of the semi-privates, man, do it because they are crushing it. And that's something super. But your why can be just as simple as like, I don't want to feel like this anymore. I want to be able to wake up and have energy. I want to be able to stop feeling sad every day. I want to be able to show up as a better partner and, create more intimacy with my partner. It can be anything. Your why is uniquely you. Okay. But you need a why. And if you don't have a why, then you're going to end up in a rut. Everybody needs a why, and you all started with a why. Every single one of you on this call started with a why. You came in and told me why you needed to start. And now I need you to go back to that and realize that the reason you started is the same reason you should keep going because you don't ever want to turn back into that version of you when you first started. Because most of you started this journey when you were in a bad place, where you were feeling less than happy and less than, confident, and you weren't feeling strong. And think of how far you've come. Think of how far you've come and how far you will go back if you do not make your health a non-negotiable. So that is our chat for today. I'm so thankful for all of you starting here. Does anybody have any questions or anything that you want to share before I sign off for today? I'm going to open up the chat and keep things rocking and rolling. I love it. And I think I am done now. Beautiful. I'm just going to stop my